So let's make some cheese sauce.
Let's start things off by sweating some veg. I'm going to give them a mince. I'm going to use a food processor to help me out just to speed things up. So let's get started.
For a complete recipe, please see the video description. I got the whole thing listed out for you there. So really what I'm doing here is I'm getting some celery, carrots, onions, parsley stems, and garlic minced in a food processor. Getting it down to that size is going to allow us to sweat these aromatics really quickly and then get a good intense flavor steeped into our milk. So get everything set, put it in the food processor just like this. Give it 5, 6, 7 pulses until you get something that looks a little bit like this. Then on a low heat, take some butter and add your minced vegetables into a pan along with about 12 black peppercorns. And there we have it. We have step 1 of this recipe completed.
As this is sweating, if you haven't had your cheese shredder already, perfect time to go ahead and do so. We're going to let this sweat for about 5-10 minutes, and then we're going to let it steep in the milk for about another 10 minutes. We're not trying to get any brown in the pan, just really kind of get translucent the veggies. Yeah, translucency is cool.
When it comes to cheese, I do prefer to go with block cheese and then shred it myself. This way I avoid any of the starches they put in pre-shredded cheese that can affect the quality of your sauce because they act kind of as a thickener at that point.
I got 2 cups of whole milk here. This is going to be what we steep the veggies in to try to create some depth into our sauce. So we'll go ahead and do that right now. Okay, 10 minutes in. We got some flavor developed in this. Let's go ahead and strain this into here. So, got our fine mesh strainer. Our milk's back on the heat, and now it's time to start adding cheese. But you're like, wait, where's the roux? We don't use roux in cheese sauce. It gets gritty, it doesn't sit well, it isn't gooey, so we need to use American cheese. That's right. Scoff all you want. This stuff is engineered for this purpose. And so let's give it its moment. We also have the Monterey Jack and Cheddar that we shredded up earlier. So I think we're ready to go. Now this stuff is what you want to go in first. Take a knife and cut it into smaller pieces. And now we're going to add this to the pool. That's right. 8 ounces of American cheese. It's the perfect thickener for a cheese sauce. I'll take a whisk and let it melt in. You want to add your cheese in batches. Start with the American cheese and let it fully melt in. It's going to create this unholy emulsion that feels right, but in all the wrong ways. I don't know. You just want it to be melted all the way through. If you pull your whisk up and it's clear, basically, that's good. Now it's time to add a little bit more of our standard cheeses. Also have the cup of cream at the ready. We might need to adjust as we go, and this will all eventually end up in the sauce. So, taking about a fourth of it at a time, go in. And now we'll continue to add cream and cheese to the sauce, constantly stirring at a low temp until we've incorporated it all and we have the consistency that we want. We're about 10 minutes in since we've added all the cheese. It's stirring intermediately, temperature low so that no scorching takes place. And now it's time to go ahead and taste and then season. Often all you might need is a little Tabasco and salt at this point, especially if you did the aromatics at the beginning. And since cheese is inherently pretty salty, I'm good on the salt level here. I will go ahead and add some Tabasco though. This does two things. One, gives a little heat. Two, the acid in this, because it's vinegar based, will cut through some of the fattiness and it won't eat so heavy on the palate. 3 or 4 shakes. Give it a stir. It's important with the Tabasco to let it steep again for a few minutes before you were to, say, add more, because it is going to bloom in your sauce. You can go too far real quickly, so proceed with caution on that. And yeah, just a little bit, added some acidity and some heat, and it doesn't like just clog you up as you eat it. At least in flavor. So, I think we're done here. Now, it's just time to eat some cheese sauce.